Hi everybody, it's Oksana, and today I want to show you how to make this ring right here. I made this a tiny little ring, so it's a knuckle ring or a midi ring, something you wear, right here, where I'm wearing mine. But you can make this bigger so that it fits in the normal spot on your finger. So if you want to see how to make this ring, then just keep watching. So I have two pieces of 20 gauge wire, and then I have a long piece that's still on the spool of 28 gauge wire. I'm going to show you this wrap. I already went ahead and got started because this one takes a little longer to do, but this is about 5-6 inches. It really depends on the size of your finger. Just cut a little extra and then you'll just trim off the ends. Alright, so when you're just starting out, you pull your wire right through both of these wires, just hold it in the back like you usually do when you start a wrap. And then what you want to do from there is you want to go up and around, and I have a video on this if you're having trouble with this wrap, and makes a little loop at the top. And feel free also to do a different wrap. Then you're going to go down. So it kind of looks like we have two tiny loops around each wire and then one big loop. So bring your wire right in the middle. Tiny loop kind of around the bottom wire there, and then around the top, and then again around both wires, and then around the bottom and the top. This is actually one of the harder weaves, I feel like, not because it's hard to do, but it's really hard to get it to be all nice and tight. Every few little wraps that you do, you really have to tighten it, because otherwise it just gets really, really loose. So feel free to do something simpler, like maybe just a couple of wraps around the bottom and then like 2 wraps around both. One of those, that would be easy too. So once you have a piece that is long enough, find something that you can wrap it around. For me, wrapping it around a pen seems to work well size-wise. Like I said, it kind of depends on the size of your fingers. And you can make a regular ring as well. I'm making a midi ring or a knuckle ring, which is something that would go, let me show you, I'm already wearing a ring here, but it's something that goes right here. So that seems to be good for me size-wise. So go ahead and do that. It is, adjustable, so even if a pen happens to be smaller, I think the pen is, slightly smaller than my finger, I just kind of loosened this up by bending upwards, and then I'm going to go just a little bit more. You want these to meet and overlap just a tiny bit. So right now there's kind of a gap where this wrap, ends and this wrap ends. So I'm going to go just to like here, so it overlaps just a tiny, tiny bit. Alright, so now we got some overlappage there. So what you want to do now is, and of course there's lots of different designs that you can do, but this is just something I'm gonna show you here. You want to take this, bend it up like that, and out of the way, and then keep this wire, don't cut it, and we're gonna do a little bit of single wraps here, just a little bit, to keep the wire kind of out of the way, and then we'll end up doing a little more too later. So now we're going to work on this wire. So all you want to do is you want to cut it about this much, and now you want to take your round nose pliers, just make a nice little loop, just a pretty little curl for decoration. I'm sorry, I know it's hard to see, but just something like that. And now you can keep going with wrapping around this. Oops, wrong way. So what we're going to do here is wrap a little bit until it reaches, like if you're going to bend this upwards, when it reaches to like right here, I want to put a bead on. So I'm going to go ahead and stop and do that, and I'll show you guys, but I'm going to just do some single wraps until I get there. Alright, so here's my bead. Just put that on. It could be any bead. Little metallic bead is fine. A round bead is fine too. So now I'm just going to hold it tight. I know you can't see because I'm holding it, but you just want to hold it in place and do a few wraps right after the bead. So that secures the bead on there. And then if you can see your wire, you can move it to the back. If you don't want to be able to see your wire going across the bead, just push it with your nail to the back so that it's not showing. And then tighten these little wraps here. So now what you want to do, and it might help to look at it this way, not upside down, is you want to bend this wire upwards. Just, put your nail down or your finger down and bend up like that. Make kind of a sharp bend. And then also with your finger, push on the bead because our ring is rounded and then this wire is not. So just push just a tiny, tiny bit to kind of round that wire. This way this wire meets up with the ring nicely and is not sticking out in front of it because this wire needs to also curve. We basically just curved the wire a little bit there. Alright, so mine actually lines up nicely. If yours doesn't line up nicely, feel free, to do a few more wraps if you need to, but mine lines up to where my wire is just right down here, where it needs to be, right on the bottom. I'm actually going to do one more tiny loop. I feel like that would be better. There we go. I think now it's perfect. So what you want to do now is, sorry, I keep turning, guys. You want to wrap it around the ring. So I'm going to turn it as I do this so you can see. See how I did a loop? And now I'm doing essentially another loop. Make sure the second wire gets on the left side of the other wire. So mine is loose. I'm leaving it loose right now so you can really see what's happening here. See, this is my wire. And then you can do a third wrap as well. I'm going to go back and redo these and do them nice and tight off camera because it's kind of hard, but I want you to be able to see 2 or 3 wraps to attach this wire to the ring, and then we're going to go and do some single wraps around this little tail that's left. Alright, now you can just cut the wire off and use your pliers to push it down so it's not going to poke you. Now you just want to make a little loop out of this. So just take it with your round nose pliers and just make a nice little loop. Just like that. So this is the top of our ring. And now we're going to work on the bottom. So I have some wire here, just like the end of my skinny wire that I started with. You may not have this much. That's fine. Just cut yourself off a piece of skinny wire. Go ahead and wrap it around, let's see, this bottom wire. So if you're holding the ring upside down, this bottom wire. So just start wrapping around it, either, if you have a little tail end or with a brand new wire. If you're doing a brand new wire, just make sure that after you do several loops, you cut off the very end of it so it's not sticking out here, and just pinch it down with your pliers so it's just all nice and kind of seamless. So let me show you what I'm going to do here. For this, I'm probably going to weave to like around here. And then this one, you have the option of doing that as well, or you can just leave it completely bare. So if you're leaving it completely bare, then you just want to cut it off, leave yourself a little bit of room to do a decorative loop. I like to leave myself a little extra. I want it to be bigger than this little loop up here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. Kind of like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and show you guys what to do next. Alright, so then what you can do in the bottom here, go little ways, and then once it starts getting, to like this length and you think it might be long enough, go ahead and bend it, follow this loop here. So it's tight right around this loop, just like that. And we're actually going to curl it the opposite direction. So we're going to curl it this way. So you can see mine looks like it should be long enough. So I'm going to cut off this little skinny wire here. I'm going to pinch that down in a second with some pliers so it's not sharp. I'm going to cut this off, give myself about this much room to make the curl. And then for the curl, I'm just going to grab the end here. And so I'm just, oops, sorry, can't see. I'm turning in the opposite direction. Like that. And just go a little ways. So basically you have something that looks like that. And now you have made yourself a little midi ring. See how this sticking up right here and you have this little gap? It's because this part isn't bending the way that the ring is. So you just want to push it down so it bends around the shape of your finger and then kind of pull it up a little bit so it's not super tight and uncomfortable. If you feel like this part is like hitting your knuckle, it's uncomfortable, you can turn this a little more so it's a little bit shorter. But basically that's it. You have successfully completed a knuckle or a midi ring. You can make this bigger and just make it a real ring, or a children's ring. This fits my 4-year-old, this size. So anyways, and it is adjustable, you know, because you can kind of move it, separate it out a little bit. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.